Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Friends, tonight we are going to discuss another very important discourse of the Buddha. This is from Majjhima Nikaya, the middle-length teachings of the Buddha. The discourse number 21, Kakachupama Sutta. Kakachupama means simile of the soap. Our topic tonight is what is real love and how Vedehika was tested by her maid. That is the topic. This discourse was delivered by the Buddha while the Buddha was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. On that occasion, the Venerable Molya Pagguna, that was his name, the one monk, he was associating overmuch with bhikkhunis, with nuns. He was associating so much with bhikkhunis that if any bhikkhu spoke dispraise of those bhikkhunis in his presence, he would become angry and displeased and would rebuke him. And if any bhikkhu spoke dispraise of the Venerable Molya Pagguna in those bhikkhunis' presence, they would become angry and displeased and would rebuke him. So much over the Venerable Molya Pagguna associated with bhikkhunis, with nuns. Then a certain monk went to the Buddha and he said this to the Buddha. On hearing this, the Buddha addressed a certain bhikkhu, certain monk, and said, "Come, bhikkhu, tell the bhikkhu Molya Pagguna in my name that the teacher calls him." Means Buddha wanted a certain monk to go to Venerable Molya Pagguna and ask him to come to see the Buddha. Then that monk said, "Yes, Venerable Sir." And he went to meet Venerable Molya Pagguna. And he asked him to come and see the Buddha. When he came to the Buddha said, "Pagguna, is it true that you are associating overmuch with bhikkhunis, with nuns? That you are associating so much with bhikkhunis that if any bhikkhu speaks dispraise of those bhikkhunis in your presence, you become angry and displeased and rebuke him? And if any bhikkhu speaks dispraise of you in those bhikkhunis' presence, they themselves become angry and displeased and rebuke him? Are you associating so much with bhikkhunis as it seems? Then he said, yes, Venerable Sir. He accepted. Pagguna, are you not a clansman who has gone forth out of faith from the home life into homelessness? Yes, Venerable Sir, he said. The Buddha said, Pagguna, it is not proper for you, a clansman, gone forth out of faith from the home life into homelessness, to associate overmuch with bhikkhunis. That's not good. Buddha said that's not a good idea to associate overmuch with bhikkhunis, with nuns, for the monks. Therefore, if anyone speaks dispraise of those bhikkhunis in your presence, you should abandon any desires and any thoughts based on the household life. And herein you should train thus. You should train in this manner. The Buddha said, you should train in this manner. This is how mindfulness of loving kindness, loving friendliness is to be developed. The topic is, what is real love? What is real love? Real love means, love has 3 different levels. The first level is romantic love between lovers. The second type of love is family love, filial love. Then the third type is the most important and the highest level, which is called universal love. That is the real love. In Buddhist language, it is metta. Metta, love and friendliness. So the Buddha said, here you should train in this manner. How my mind will be unaffected and I shall utter no evil words. I shall abide compassionate for his welfare. Whoever says something. With a mind of love and friendliness. Love and friendliness is metta. It is not love and kindness. The term love and kindness is not the right term, right translation to metta, because kindness is not metta, it is karuna. It's a different thing. Karuna is compassion. Metta is love. 2 different things. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. Buddha taught 4 things. So, Buddha said, love and friendliness without inner hate. If you have love and friendliness, metta, real love, you have no hate inside. That is how you should train Pagguna. That's the Buddha's advice. If anyone gives those bhikkhunis a blow with his hand, with a cloth, with a stick, or with a knife in your presence, you should abandon any desires and any thoughts based on the household life. You should not worry about things. And herein you should train thus. This is the way that you have to practice. Real love. You to understand like this. My mind will be unaffected and I shall utter no evil words. I shall abide compassionate for his welfare with a mind of love and friendliness, without inner hate. If anyone speaks dispraise in your presence, you should abandon any desires and any thoughts based on the household life, and herein you should train thus. My mind will be unaffected, and I shall utter no evil words. I shall abide compassionate for his welfare with a mind of love and friendliness, without inner hate. If anyone should give you a blow with his hand, with a cloud, with a stick, or with a knife, you should abandon any desire and any thought based on the household life. And therein you should train thus: how? My mind will be unaffected, and I shall utter no evil words. I shall abide compassionate for his welfare with a mind of love and friendliness. Love and friendliness, metta, where no inner hate. That's the way to practice. That's the way to practice. Then the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus. The Buddha addressed the other monks and said, Bhikkhus, there was an occasion when the bhikkhus satisfied my mind. That Buddha, referring to the bhikkhus, the Buddha said, there was a time where the bhikkhus satisfied my mind. Here I address the bhikkhus thus: Bhikkhus, I eat at a single session. By so doing, I am free from illness and affliction, and I enjoy health, strength, and a comfortable abiding. Come, bhikkhus, eat at a single session. By so doing, you will be free from illness and affliction, and you will enjoy health, strength, and a comfortable abiding. And I had no need to keep on instructing those bhikkhus. I had only to arouse mindfulness in that time in them. So the Buddha said, once the bhikkhus adhered to my word properly, that is the meaning here. Suppose there were a chariot on even ground at the crossroads, harnessed to thoroughbreds, waiting with goad line ready, so that a skilled trainer, a charioteer of horses to be tamed, might mount it, and taking the reins in his left hand and the goad in his right hand, might drive out and back by any road whenever he likes. So too, I had no need to keep on instructing those bhikkhus. I had only to arouse mindfulness in them. That means, here it means, once the monks were instructed once. Whenever the Buddha aroused mindfulness, Buddha did not want to explain things in details. Simply the Buddha instructed them, Buddha reminded them what is to be done. For instance, how to take meal. Buddha said, I eat only a single session, one time a day. Buddha pointed out the significance, benefits. Then the monks were ready to accept it. That is what the Buddha said. Buddha gave here as the simile of the chariot and charioteer, the skilled charioteer, the trainer, how he takes his chariot as he wished and as he went through wherever he liked. That is the meaning. Now, the Buddha further said, therefore, bhikkhus, abandon what is unwholesome and develop yourself to wholesome state. That is the Buddha's frequent advice. For that is how you will come to growth, increase and fulfillment in this Dhamma and discipline. Friends, Dhamma and discipline means the Buddha's dispensation, Dhamma Vinaya. Further, the Buddha gave another simile here. Suppose there were a big sala tree grow near a village or a town, and it was choked with castor oil weeds, and some man would appear desiring its good welfare and protection. He would cut down and throw out the crooked saplings that rubbed the sap, and he would clean up the interior of the grove and tend the strength well-formed saplings, so that the sala tree grow later on would come to growth, increase and fulfillment. So too, bhikkhus, abandon what is unwholesome, akusala, unwholesome, akusala. What is unwholesome? Abandon and devote yourself to wholesome states, kusala. For that is how you will come to growth, increase and fulfillment in this Dhamma and discipline. This is the Buddha's advice. How the Buddha gave a story. It's a story of a mistress named Vedehika. That is part of our topic. How Vedehika was tested by her maid. Let's say that story. It's just a nice story. Formerly, bhikkhus, in this same Savatthi, there was a housewife named Vedehika. And a good report about Mistress Vedehika had spread thus. Mistress Vedehika is kind. Mistress Vedehika is gentle. Mistress Vedehika is peaceful. That was the fame spread all over the city. Now, Mistress Vedehika had a maid named Kali. So the name of the maid is Kali. The Kali wanted to test her mistress Vedehika. So let's see. The Kali, who was clever, nimble and neat in her work. The maid Kali thought, good report about my lady has spread thus. Mistress Vedehika is kind, Mistress Vedehika is gentle, Mistress Vedehika is peaceful. How is it now? While she does not show anger, is it nevertheless actually present in her, or is it absent? Or else, is it just because my work is neat that my lady shows no anger though it is actually present in her? Suppose I test my lady. That was the idea. That's how this maid Kali thought of. She wanted to test. So the maid Kali got up late. One day she got up late to test her mistress Vedehika. The mistress Vedehika said, "Hey Kali," because she got late. The Vedehika said, "Hey Kali." "What is it, madam?" "What's it, madam?" She said, "What is the matter that you get up so late?" "Why you got up late?" "Nothing is matter, madam." "Nothing is matter? You wicked girl, yet you get up so late." And she was angry and displeased, and she scowled. Then the maid Kali thought, The fact is that while my lady does not show anger, it is actually present in her, not absent. And it is just because my work is neat that my lady shows no anger, though it is actually present in her, not absent. Suppose I test my lady a little more. So the maid Kali got up later in the day. Next day she got up later. Then Mistress Vedika said, "Hey Kali, what is it matter? What is it matter?" she said. "What is the matter that you get up later in the day? Why you get up later today?" "Nothing is the matter, madam." "Nothing is the matter? You wicked girl, yet you get up later in the day." And she was angry and displeased, and she spoke words of displeasure. Then the maid Kali thought, "The fact is that while my lady does not show anger, it is actually present in her, not absent. Suppose I test my lady a little more." So the maid Kali got up still later in the day. Next day she was still later. Then Mistress Vedehika said, "Hey Kali, what's it matter?" "What's it matter?" she said. "What's it matter?" "Hey Kali." That's how she addressed. "What is the matter that you get up still later in the day?" "Nothing is the matter, madam," she said. Kali said, "Nothing is the matter, you wicked girl, yet you get up still later in the day." And she was angry and displeased, and she took a rolling pin, gave her a blow on the head, and cut her head. That was her kindness, her compassion, her metta, her loving friendliness. The mistress, people thought that she was a nice one. Then what happened? Then the maid Kali, with blood running from her cut head, denounced her mistress to the neighbors. "See, ladies, the kind lady's work. See, ladies, the gentle lady's work. See, ladies, the peaceful lady's work. How can she become angry and displeased with her only maid for getting up late? How can she take a rolling pin, give her a blow on the head, and cut her head?" Then later on, a bad report about Mistress Vedehika spread thus: "Mistress Vedehika is rough. Mistress Vedehika is violent. Mistress Vedehika is merciless." That's what happened to Vedehika. So that was a pretend mindfulness, pretend metta, loving friendliness. No, she had no kindness, no compassion. The Buddha said so to bhikkhus. Some bhikkhus are extremely kind. Some bhikkhus are extremely kind, extremely gentle, extremely peaceful. Not only bhikkhus, bhikkhunis and upasakas and upasikas, all the fourfold sangha, monks, nuns, laymen and laywomen, all fourfold sangha. They show that they are extremely kind, extremely gentle, extremely peaceful. So long as how long? So long as disagreeable causes of speech do not touch him until such things happen. Until such things happens, they are nice. But it is when disagreeable causes of speech touch him that it can be understood whether that bhikkhu is really kind, gentle, and peaceful. I do not call a bhikkhu easy to admonish who is easy to admonish and makes himself easy to admonish only for the sake of getting robes, alms food, a resting place, and medicinal requisites. Why is that? Because that bhikkhu is not easy to admonish, nor makes himself easy to admonish when he gets no robes, alms food, resting place, and medicinal requisites. But when a bhikkhu is easy to admonish and makes himself easy to admonish because he honors, respects, and reveres the Dhamma, him I call easy to admonish. Therefore, bhikkhus, you should train thus. We shall be easy to admonish and make ourselves easy to admonish because we honor, respect, and revere the Dhamma. That is how you should train bhikkhus. The Buddha said, bhikkhus, there are these 5 courses of speech that others may use when they address you. 5 types of speech. Their speech may be timely or untimely. People talk timely or untimely. People talk about true or untrue things, true or untrue, gentle or harsh, connected with good or with harm, spoken with a mind of loving friendliness or with inner hate. Those are the 5 courses of speech, 5 types of speech. People do this. When others address you, their speech may be timely or untimely. Buddha points out. When others address you, their speech may be true or untrue. When others address you, their speech may be gentle or harsh. When others address you, their speech may be connected with good or with harm. When others address you, their speech may be spoken with a mind loving friendliness or with inner hate. Here in bhikkhus, you should train thus. This is the way to train. It's not only for bhikkhus. Even the Buddha addressed for the bhikkhus. We should understand this clearly, that it's not Buddha's instruction, Buddha's admonition is not only for bhikkhus, but for all of us. This is how the Buddha said, this is how you have to train yourself. Our minds will remain unaffected, and we shall utter no evil words. We shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for their welfare. With a mind of loving friendliness, without inner hate, we shall abide pervading that person with a mind imbued with loving friendliness. That is real love. We shall abide pervading, suffusing, pervading that person with a mind imbued with loving friendliness. And starting with him, we shall abide, pervading the all compassion, encompassing, all encompassing world with the mind imbued with loving friendliness. That is what we did at the beginning, before this talk. Abundant, exalted, immeasurable love, immeasurable metta, without hostility and without ill will. That is the way to practice metta, loving friendliness, real love. So the Buddha talk about this and Buddha said, gave another simile. Buddha gave a simile here. Because suppose a man came with a hoe and a basket and said, I shall make this great earth to be without earth. He would dig here and there, strew the soil here and there, spit here and there, and urinate here and there, saying, be without earth, be without earth. He wanted to destroy this earth. That is the meaning. He is bringing the hoe and a basket, and he wants to destroy, completely cut off, destroy this earth. What do you think, bhikkhus? Could that man make this great earth to be without earth? No, Venerable Sir. Why is that? Because this great earth is deep and immense. It cannot possibly be made to be without earth. Eventually, the man would reap only weariness and disappointment. So too, bhikkhus. Buddha says, so too, bhikkhus. There are these 5 causes of speech. You should train thus. You should not harbor hate. You should not harbor hate. Instead, you should practice. You should train your mind, train yourself. How? Our minds will remain unaffected, and starting with him, we shall abide pervaded in the all-encompassing world with a mind similar to the earth's. Mind similar to the earth. Earth is all over. Abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. That's the way to practice. Practice like the earth. On another occasion, the Buddha said, practice like the water. Practice like fire, heat, fire. These are common to all. No discrimination. Practice like wind. Because suppose a man, Buddha gives another simile here. Because suppose a man came with a blazing grass torch and said, I shall heat up and burn away the river Ganges with this blazing grass torch. What do you think, bhikkhus? Could that man heat up and burn away the river Ganges with that blazing grass torch? No, Venerable Sir. Why is that? Because the river Ganges is deep and immense. It cannot possibly be heated up and burned away with the blazing grass torch. Eventually, the man would reap only weariness and disappointment. So too, bhikkhus. There are these 5 causes of speech. The similar thing. So you can't. The Buddha said, train yourself. Train yourself. Finally, Buddha says, when others address you, their speech may be timely or untimely. So referring to these similes, Buddha said, when others address you, their speech may be timely or untimely. When others address you, their speech may be true or untrue. When others address you, their speech may be gentle or harsh. When others address you, their speech may be connected with good or with harm. When others address you, their speech may be spoken with a mind of love and friendliness or with inner hate. Herein, bhikkhus, you should train thus. Whatever the others say, when they speak, when they address us, they talk many different things. Buddha's kind admonition is train yourself. Train yourself. How? Our minds will remain unaffected. Unaffected. How should we train that? What is to be done? Buddha said, do not accept it. That is the main thing. That is the first thing. Do not accept. Do not accept. Do not welcome. If you welcome such thoughts, such words, if you accept such words from the other people, then that is the problem. Welcome such thought. If you welcome. So the Buddha's advice is, do not welcome. Then abandon, cut off, totally destroy, obliterate such thought. Thoughts pop up. Then Buddha said, practice. Practice. So in this case, the Buddha says, practice like this. Our minds will remain unaffected. Your mind is, if the mind is unaffected, no problem. What normally happens, when somebody says something, our mind is affected. Our mind is affected. Why? Mind is affected because we accept it. We accept what others say. If we do not accept, you can mentally say, this is not relevant. It should be not relevant to you. Then, if it is not relevant to you, do not want to accept it. That is the meaning here. And we shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for their welfare. We think of their welfare. We have compassion. We extend compassion, karuna. With a mind of love and friendliness, we extend metta instead. And starting with him, we shall abide pervade in the all-encompassing world with a mind similar to a catskin bag. Abundant, similar to catskin. Catskin bag means smooth. With a gentle mind, happy mind, peaceful mind. That is why the simile of catskin bag was given here. Abundant metta, abundant karuna, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. Now, the Buddha gives another very important simile. How to practice metta, love, real love. Let's see these similes. This is the simile of the soul, the name of the discourse. Simile of the soul. Buddha said, because even if bandits were to serve you savagely, cut you into pieces, limbs, cut savagely, limb by limb, your limbs are cut off by bandits, by thieves, with a two-handled saw. He who gave rise to a mind of hate. Buddha said, even when the bandits are cutting off your limbs, limb by limb, with a two-handled saw, he who gave rise to a mind of hate towards them would not be carrying out my teaching. That is the That is the thing. Buddha said, whoever is, even though your limbs are cutting off by bandits, even that time, if you get angry, if you hate towards that man, that bandit, then Buddha said, then you would not be carrying out my teaching. You are not following my teaching. That's the meaning. That is how to practice metta, love and friendliness. Here in bhikkhus, you should train thus. Monks, you should train thus. How? Our minds will remain unaffected, and we shall utter no evil words. We shall abide compassionate for their welfare, with a mind of love and friendliness, without inner hate, no harboring hate. Hate is never appeased by hate. Hate is appeased only by mindfulness, only by metta, love and friendliness. We shall abide pervading them with the mind imbued with love and friendliness, and starting with them, we shall abide pervading the all-encompassing world with the mind imbued with love and friendliness. Love and friendliness, love, goodwill, good thoughts towards all beings. Starting from that particular, we can extend metta, love and friendliness, abundant, limitless, without any discrimination, exalted, immeasurable metta, immeasurable, exalted metta, without hostility and without ill will. That is how you should train bhikkhus, the Buddha said. Bhikkhus, if you keep this advice on the simile of the soul constantly in mind, do you see any course of speech, trivial or gross, that you could not endure? That you could not endure. No, Venerable Sir. The Buddha said, the monk said, no, Venerable Sir. Therefore, bhikkhus, you should keep this advice on the simile of the soul constantly in mind. Simile of the soul. Keep this constantly in your mind. That is the Buddha's advice. That will lead to your welfare and happiness for a long time. That is what the Blessed One said. The bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So friends, this is a wonderful discourse by the Buddha. Simile of the soul. Let's keep this in our mind. Let's practice metta, love and friendliness, again and again. In order to extend metta, first we have to generate metta within us. We have to practice this as a meditation. It's a concentration meditation. Buddha recommended this meditation. Metta as a concentration meditation, very much significant. Let's all practice metta as part of our meditation, and then switch to mindfulness of breathing. Metta and mindfulness of breathing are very powerful. If we practice this daily, we can switch easily to insight meditation. Metta and concentration, both we can practice as concentration meditation. Then we switch to insight, vipassana. How should we practice vipassana? As we have concentration, we can be mindful of our 6 sense bases. When we are mindful of our 6 sense bases, we can understand how these 5 aggregates are arising and passing all the time in the 6 sense bases. Where we can understand the concomitant factors in the 6 sense bases, we can understand 5 aggregates as dukkha. The Buddha said 5 aggregates affected by clinging is dukkha. Panchupada dukkha. If we can understand 5 aggregates as dukkha, we can understand the cause of dukkha. Where is the cause of dukkha? The cause of dukkha is right there with the 5 aggregates. Where are the 5 aggregates? They are in the 6 sense bases. So if the 5 aggregates are there in the 6 sense bases, there should be the cause of dukkha there. What is the cause? That is craving. Craving is there in the eye, in the ear, in the nose, in the tongue, in the body, and in the mind. That is where this craving arises. That same craving, the Buddha said, that same craving should be ceased, should be cut off right there in the 6 sense bases. If we can cut off that craving, that is the cessation of craving. That is the attainment of enlightenment. For this, there is the path. Path is the Noble Eightfold Path, no other. The path is where? Path itself is there. Path is divided into 3, Sila, Samadhi and Panya. These are there in the 6 sense bases. So friends, mainly we have to be mindful of our 6 sense bases, and we have to be mindful to understand how these 5 aggregates are arising and passing, where we should not cling to 5 aggregates as this is mine, this I'm, this is myself. If we do not cling to 5 aggregates, we are free from suffering. The cessation of suffering is the cessation of dukkha, cessation of craving, cessation of all dukkha. That is the attainment of enlightenment. May we all realize that real peace, that real happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu.